The Eels waiting in their dressing room. It is pouring here at Leichhardt. It has been pouring across Sydney for the last couple of hours. But despite that, there is a big crowd waiting outside for this side to hit the field. And of course, most of them are here to see the Balmain Tigers at Leichhardt for the last time. As the Balmain Tigers, they've won 11 premierships over the years. This is their 66th season at Leichhardt. They'll still be playing here next year, but it will be as the West Tigers, the joint venture starting in the year 2000 with the Western Suburbs Magpies. Of course, the announcement during the week that Wayne Pearce will continue on as the coach of the merged clubs. A boost for this side coming into this game. They will need to improve on their efforts last week when they were comprehensively beaten by Manly at Brookvale. But Parramatta looking to remain joint premiership leaders with Cronulla. They hit Leichhardt in front of what is a very good crowd despite the conditions. We take a look at their lineup. Their coach is Brian Smith. At fullback, Chris Quinn. Tonight, the halves are Jim Dimmick and Ben Custo. And there you see the interchange bench: Penner, Tukey, Weston and Burt.
Very tough lineup. I guess a few people will be wondering just how the team are going to go. Ian Pay, such an important member of that side. The team, if they've got any criticisms over the last couple of weeks, it's that they perhaps lack a little bit of direction in tough situations.
It is the end of an era. 66 years at Tiger Town at Leichhardt. Darren Centre leads on the black and golds to Leichhardt for the last time as the Balmain Tigers. This is their lineup for this famous match. Wayne Pearce, the coach, and of course the favourite son here at Balmain in the 80s and of course the early 90s. And there is Joel Kane at fullback. The halves are Webster and Field, and on the bench Lauder, Stimson, Meads and Gillette.
No doubt Pearce would have had these guys worked up a number of days. Individual performances will come into this match, I'm sure, but just how these fellas group as a team is going to be vital as to their outcome this evening. That guy will play a huge part in it. Obviously, with the conditions, his kicking game is going to come and play a big game. Mark Oaten, the man in charge, celebrating his 50th first grade match.
The rain continues to pour down here at Leichhardt. Ben Custo places the ball, and we are just about set for a start. And listen to this crowd. A low grubbing kick. What will be an interesting game as far as tactics are concerned in these atrociously wet conditions. Balmain will defend the southern end of Leichhardt and run towards the stands in the second half. Shane Walker. Tackled about 17 metres short of the halfway line. They go to the right-hand side. O'Neill playing in his 101st first-grade game this evening. Field with the clearing kick. Will bounce down and hit a puddle and stop almost dead there where Shafosky picks it up. Meet the wall of Tigers. Tyron Smith it was who tackled him. Kidwell, been in rare form of late. Very impressive in the last month. They go to the right-hand side. McCracken met solidly there by Jason Lowry. Got the pass away though to Shafosky before he was wrapped up by Tyron Smith. Custo win a dummy half. Gives it away to Vella. Just over the halfway line. The kick away from dummy half by Schifoletti and landed right in the hands there of James Webster. The live wire redhead, the 5'8", as Lulin brings it away from dummy half. Tackled just short of the halfway line.
Well, fielding in the slips there, they'll get a job with the Australian cricket team if he goes looking for one in summer. Well, he's probably going to have his hands full here this evening. Gee, these are going to be tough situations for the players to handle.
Field turns it back on the inside to Tyron Smith. Just over a minute and a half gone. No score at Leichhardt as Field. A flat pass, very flat indeed. No call from Mark Oaten. He thought the pass was okay, but it doesn't matter because Daniel Wagon has come up with it for the Eels. Turnover of possession, and Paul Harrigan, they can't afford to do that too many times, the Tigers against the Eels.
No, particularly in this wet weather, it is all about completions, and wet weather football is hanging onto the ball. They've got to do that.
10 metres into Tigers territory. Dimmick turns it back on the inside for Hindmarsh. 33 out. Skifflety dummy to his left-hand side. Came back to the right-hand side with McCracken. Stepped back inside the defence momentarily before he was wrapped up by Lowry with the help of Tyron Smith down low. Again, they come back to this right-hand side. Dimmick gave it away to Shafosky. Got under the tackle of Lewin and flicked the ball out the back to Kidwell. It comes down to Joel Kane, who knocks it on just a metre or so out from his try line. Shaky start for the fullback, and Russell Fairfax on the sideline with us this evening. These conditions are deteriorating all the time.
There are no tougher conditions in the game, and exactly what Paul Harrigan said. It's all about making sure you make no mistakes, and I can tell you what, that'll be the last time. Well, probably the only thing that's going to be in Balmain's favour all night tonight with these conditions is the crowd. I can tell you, they're a very vocal crowd. There's a fair bit of tension here, and they're right behind their team.
Stuart Kelly trying to get on the outside there of Craig Hancock, but he wrapped him up.
Craig, you're out of it. You weren't 5 metres.
And Mark Oaten has ruled that Hancock was up inside the distance at the scrum, and Parramatta will have a penalty just a couple of metres out from the Tigers line, and they're going to take the tap. They keep it going as they work it towards the post. Quinn waits at dummy half. Dimmick at first receiver. Took them on. Looped the pass across the top to Shafosky, who only has a couple of metres to go to the line and gets there. Parramatta in the 4th minute of the game score the opening try here at Leichhardt this evening.
And very well placed. The Eels realise that they've got an opportunity to attack potentially a dangerous area for Balmain over the last couple of weeks. The penalty, of course, was given via a scrum. Well, if he's got anybody, I think he's got the wrong bloke on the scrum penalty. But we saw a young kid come into the Balmain team a couple of weeks ago, Mark Lewland. He managed to sprint off the wing to snuff a couple of very promising situations. He came in one time too many on that occasion to get in there. Leave an unchallenged Clinton Tchaikovsky there. 4 points to the visitors. It's certainly taken a little bit of wind out of the sail here of the locals, who are hoping for an enthusiastic performance.
Yeah, great try there. Jim Dimmick is great laterally. He drew a 2-on-1 there and promoted a great pass there for Tchaikovsky, who does finish the ball very well. Always finds a line and can kick the odd goal too. It'll be tough in these conditions. I don't know what the wind's doing at the moment, but it'll be a hard kick.
I can tell you the wind is favouring the Balmain Tigers in this first half, so it's going to be a tough conversion for the kicker, Tchaikovsky, the try scorer.
Just a couple of metres in from this western touchline. On the sideline in 1999, you can see 4 from 10. Doing well to improve on that record with this particular kick. Terrific crowd in at Leichhardt. And they'll boo with all their might as Shafosky lines this one up. Struck it nicely, hooking back, but not enough. Parramatta lead Balmain 4 points to 0. Just 6 minutes gone, and Wally, an important period coming up for Balmain if they're to remain competitive in this game. They need to muscle up here in the next set of 6.
Yeah, and important they don't give away a penalty here. They're going to be enthusiastic, and they must remember that they've got to play the game at this end of the football field to score the points. They can't afford to go giving away silly penalties, though.
Vella brings it back and almost got it back to the 20-metre line. Hindmarsh. Midway between the Parramatta try line and the halfway line. Kalis puts it down and gives the Tigers a chance close to the Parramatta line. They're just 30 metres away. With a full set of 6 to work with. Shane Walker. Take around the ears as ever. Gives the pass away, got it to Hancock. Jenkton was tackled just inside the Parramatta 20. Field turning it back for Tyron Smith. Takes it towards the post. Some pressure for Parramatta. They lead 4-0. Nabel gives it away on the right-hand side. And O'Neill will play it. Just a few metres away from the line. Field with Webster outside running for him. Field might get there himself. Wynn came across, got a foot to it. Kalis dived on it, and it's play on. He made it just back to the field of play.
Well, and I think he made the wrong decision there, Field. Looked like he tried to scoop the ball up in one hand. All he had to do was simply dive out. Perhaps we're being a little bit too critical. Tough situation for him, but he dropped it on the ground. It was in perfect position where he could dive on the football. He simply would have skidded across the line. Well, a little bit too much competition, I think, there for him to make a dive.
Parramatta, meanwhile, have it just outside their own 30. Where Dimmick will play it, wearing the number 6 again this evening. Kidwell running straight at Webster, a mismatch there. The big, strong running centre against the diminutive 5'8". The Eels will surely try and keep that mismatch going throughout the game. A kick, a good one, over the head of Joel Kane, but he got back in plenty of time to field it on his own 10-metre line and bring it back almost another 20 metres.
Really handy chasing team, 11 in the Parramatta chasing team. They obviously know that there's going to be a fair bit of kick and chase going on. The discipline in their game is first class.
Nabel to within 9 metres of the halfway line. Lowry still towards the Eels defensive line. They waited for him for a moment there. Jason Smith not moving up. Lowry was able to pick up 15 or so metres. You see there in defence in 99. The Eels miss an average of 17.2 tackles per game. The best defensive record as far as that stat in the league. Field from 40 metres out, goes high to the air. Carlo screaming through. Doing a good job of blocking him was Kidwell, and it meant that Schifosky had an easy grab to make.
Yeah, that was a good set, Balmain. They made about 30 or 40 metres, and that's their go. They've got to have high completions, keep turning over the ball, and if they can with Lowry and with Walker, if they can later on in the game get a few offloads, that'll be great too.
See, there wasn't much pressure on the man receiving the football, though. That's one thing Balmain's going to do in these wet conditions, try to force a mistake.
Hindmarsh plays it. Slow play the ball, and Schifosky gives it off to Vella. Back to this right-hand side they go. Spent most of their attacking time down this western side of Leichhardt Oval, and Joel Kane is happy to watch the ball just roll across the line. It will be a Balmain loosened feed from the scrum.
I think either team will be too upset to see the ball dribble across the line there. The game's been played at a fairly quick pace despite the wet conditions. They know that they have the added bonus tonight, or the disadvantage of, because there's going to be so much kicking in the game, there's going to be a lot more responsibility on the players from both teams to put pressure on the clearing kicks. Both teams will be aiming to try and get 2 or 3 of those during the game.
Carlo try and bring it outside the Balmain 10-metre line as they win it from the scrum. Kane. Just the one try so far. On this last occasion, the Black and Golds will play as the Balmain Tigers at Leichhardt. 10.5 minutes gone in the first half. To the right-hand side, Nabel showing it, gives it to Hancock. Wrapped up by Kalis. Field. Kicking from 5 metres on his own side of halfway. A good kick on this occasion, and a better chase from Balmain as well. Webster was up there quickly and was able to get past him before they dragged him to ground. 30 metres out now. Fast play the ball. Dimmick was looking for and got it. It was a little ungainly, but Mark Oaten says play on. They go to the open side. Kalis just turning at the defence. The Tukster, Mark Tukey, waiting on the sideline. Get his first taste tonight. Dimmick, a good ball back on the inside for McCracken. An equally good tackle down low, and it was made by Mark Stimson. Schifosky kicking once again. Not looking for too many metres. He was happy to go to the touchline and just slow the play down and use up the clock as Tukey takes his place in the pack for the first time tonight. And a very percentage sort of game being played at the moment by Parramatta.
Well, that's the way that they base their game pretty much throughout the year. The big fella, Tukey, of course, heading overseas to Auckland to continue his career. Should expect a fair splash out there once or twice throughout the game when he makes contact with the ball. And Brian Smith will place a lot of importance on his forwards tonight. He's going to ask them, as Mark Oaten finds the same penalty that he did earlier in the match. Of course, referees obviously taking a fair bit of notice about where the opposition backs are standing. I guess it's been an area that refs haven't worried about too much. As long as they remain consistent, that's all both teams are looking for in a game.
He got it dead right. They were up certainly within that 10 metres. There was about 3 or 4 on the line, and it was a good decision by the referee.
Adam Naval will tap it on the halfway line. He gives it back to Stimson. Missed the majority of the season. The foot injury suffered in the off-season work incident. Lowry. 30 metres out from this Parramatta line. O'Neill. Good hit up as he takes them within range here. Still tackles to work with the Tigers. Naval goes from dummy half. Gives it to Field as they switch it. Back to the blind side. Centre it was who couldn't pick it up. Knocked backwards. Play on. Stimson gives it back to centre. He's wrapped up by Smith and Hindmarsh. Hancock waits at dummy half. Field at first receiver. Working the run around with Webster. Good flat pass into a hole. Hayes Lauder, equally good tackle. It was made by Tukey. A try saver. Webster, a poor pass from dummy half. Kicked, played on, and fielded by the Eels. But once again, they were up inside the 10.
Hey, leave it there,
and
leave
it will be a Balmain penalty on top of the Parramatta try line.
Well, half a break coming for Balmain.
You right,
Referee
Nathan?
calling
Yeah.
time off.
Is he right?
A few bumps going on between the players out there.
What
Half
you
a
want,
chance being created. Here's what we saw as the execution of the last play, which wasn't what Wayne Pearce would be looking for as coach of the Tigers. But Hayes Lauder ran a beautiful gap, or an angle that was put in front of him. Hit it, but we've also got to pay a huge amount of credit to the big fella, Mark Tukey, now in the cover defending role.
Well, no doubt if you can run the straight line or a touch of an angle coming back from the opposite way the defence is, you're going to make some yards, and that's what we saw when he nearly went over for a try. But gee, I think when Brian Smith sent Tukey on, it was down the other end of the field. I'm sure he wanted to use him as a battering ram and maybe force his way over with some big size and some bulk. And he just proved he can do. There's a couple of strings to his bow because he made 3 tackles in that set of 6. He's not just an attacking player, Mark Tukey.
Joel Kane will have his kick at goal to edge the Tigers within 2 points. And he does exactly that. 14.5 minutes gone, and Parramatta 4 lead Balmain 2. The Tigers have responded after Parramatta scored the first try of the game. Paul Harrigan, though they've given up 2 points, I'm sure Brian Smith and indeed the Auckland Warriors for that matter would be happy to see that tackle made by Mark Tukey, which saved a certain 4, perhaps 6 points.
Yeah, that was a great set move there by Balmain. Like to see him do more of that. Bodies in motion, running good lines in this wet weather will put more questions to the Parramatta defence. They're so compressed in defence, they're hard to penetrate. That's the go for Balmain.
So if they can continue the momentum here as Lowry takes it up outside the 20 for the Tigers. They needed to respond after that opening try by Parramatta, and they've done exactly that. Stimson bumps it forward. Play the ball, scoot away from his boot, play on. Lauder plays it. Juggled by centre as he turns, as he comes towards Skiffolidi. He managed to pick up an extra 4 or 5 metres after the first contact. A good run from the lock forward and captain. Field chipping in behind the line, looking for the chase as it bounces up nicely for Dimmick. And he feels it with a fair deal of comfort before he gives it away to Schifosky, who runs around that line of Tigers, and, well, he gets away from them. They were there to stop him, and he just simply ran around them with not a lot of speed. Alarming how many metres he picked up after he made that first break. Dallas Western off the bench and gets a hit up, as does Mark Tukey, almost back to the halfway line. Completion rates, despite this rain, very good so far. Lulin will go back and field this kick. No problems with the Eels kick and chase game. They drag Lulin back a number of metres. Running side, Wally on that last set of 6 for Balmain. The way Schifosky was able to stream away as Cardwell makes a small break.
Well, the kicking game is, of course, so important, but they've got to make sure they're chasing keen. They're the guys that have got to be in alignment. That doesn't seem to be happening for both teams. Parramatta way in front in that department.
Field, as they work the short side. Carwell taken on by Shafosky and tackled to the ground. Oh, great field at first receiver. And the pass from Mark Lewin, and hit him right in the chest, and he put it down as simply as that. And in good position. They made plenty of metres in the early tackles in that set of 6, and in a good position to perhaps work the ball into the in-goal area and get another set of 6, but a chance goes begging.
Yeah, it's hard to be critical under these conditions, but it'll be interesting to see what Parramatta do with this set.
Midway through this first half, just 2 points in it. Quinn gives it away to Hindmarsh. They push away from Darren Centre's tackle. 5 metres, the Tiger side of halfway. Weston down the blind side. By 3 or 4 Tigers, in fact. 35 out from Balmain's line. Vella, stutter step. Well, he was met also by a trio of Tigers. The defence tonight so far reminiscent. So able to come up with against Newcastle. A chip in behind the line. Morecambe goes back. Oh, has half an ass when he only made the barest of contact with the ball, and luckily for him that contact was just enough to knock the ball across the dead ball line.
Yeah, it was very well read. Just had a look and just had one quick peek at Joel Kane. He'd managed to slip right across to cover the open side. Had Parramatta decide to shift the ball right, they didn't. In the end, a little bit of fortune coming their way.
Parramatta, though, have been awarded a penalty. Once again, Balmain up inside the 10, so the Eels will get it back. They were going to get it back anyway from the goal line dropout, but here they are just metres away from the line. David Penner turns it back on the inside for Michael Vella. Skiffalidi to Dimmick now at first receiver. Jinks is tackled by Stimson down low with Walker over the top. Looking for their second try in the game. Skiffalidi, they go left. An overlap out wide, they kick, rubbering for the in-goal, and once again it's Morecambe who shovels it across the dead ball line this time.
You could just see Morecambe there toying with the question, do I let it go? Am I going to get the chance to plant the foot? But very well read. Dropping the ball into perfect position. The chase by Chris Quinn is what made the decision so hard for Morecambe. Another set of 6 tackles coming up. Not too much fun in any conditions, but when you're struggling in the rain, makes it that much more difficult, particularly when you don't get to kick the ball too far.
You're not a bad tactic in these conditions, though. You know it's going to pull up, so they'll be expecting to put it over the line most times, and expecting either a try or a repeat set of 6.
Tukey plays it back to Skiffalidi. Chris Quinn. Everybody taking a turn at first receiver for the Eels. Brian Smith really mixing it up in attack. Hales takes it up to the 20-metre line. Go to the right-hand side. Penner to Dimmick. Number of players outside him, including Tukey. He bypassed him and gave it off to McCracken. Good defence by the Tigers. Tyron Smith. Great tackle down low. Skiffalidi. He's working it towards the post. Driving tackle. Down low, Mark O'Neill. Some strong defence from the black and golds.
And the crowd are loving it.
Dimmick. Down that left side again. Kicks into the in-goal once more. It's a carbon copy play of the last set of 6. Morecambe once again shovels it. Parramatta will get it back for this 4th consecutive time.
Well, that's well planned by Parramatta. But Paul, I think you've got to say that you can just see the Balmain players at the moment. They're doing more reassuring each other than trying to structure a defensive pattern. It's going to be hard for them to hold out.
Yeah, this is, as you said, their 4th set. It was unfortunate though when they're working into their own half. Field did drop that ball, and since then it's been 4 sets of 6 in a row. It will take its toll this set, I predict.
Well, the Tigers concede on an average of just over 22 points a game. Well, I reckon they're going to probably bust this set of 6 or the next.
Andrew Mead's on for the Tigers in 16 as Tukey plays it. They go to the left-hand side. Kalis gives it off to Hindmarsh. Fielded was who was down low to stop his momentum with Stimson over the top. Penner at first receiver drops it. And finally, that pressure valve is released for the Tigers.
Well, Balmain will be happy with that crack. Certainly what they're waiting for. Very tough conditions.
They'll finally get the ball back for the first time in at least 3 or 4 minutes. They've done very well. That last of the 6 in particular, Wally, they really muscled up.
Yeah, they've done very well. They've got an opportunity now, but of course, they can't go to sleep. They've got to remember that they've done very well to be able to keep their opponents out, but there's got to be some guys that will put their hand up to try and get the ball out of this end of the football field before they get a kick in place.
Smith. 25 metres short of the halfway line. Tigers faithful urging on the black and golds here as they responded to that defence they were able to come up with to deny Parramatta their second try of the game, and now Walker takes it up to the 40. A strong game so far. Field kicking, a good kick as well. Help with that small breeze. This will bounce all the way into the in-goal area and stop. Beautifully judged with a little bit of help from the wet ground, and they'll keep Shafosky in there. No, they won't perhaps. He'll make it back to the field of play. I don't believe he got there. He must have been an inch from the dead ball line. It looked for sure and certain that he was going to be held in goal, and now they drive. Kidball back into the in-goal. They will get the ball back. Stimson, unbelievable defence.
Well, there's the emotion. It's parted up in the crowd. They're providing it, but this is an absolutely magnificent effort. Clinton Shafosky, I mean, he was nailed in there. Some question whether he actually put a foot over the in-goal area, but he got his left arm out just far enough to carry it into the line. Kidwell, will you back this big bloke to run through 3 or 4 defenders normally? But when there's a fair bit of emotion under that yellow and gold jumper, things tend to change.
I'll tell you what, there may be a sea of umbrellas out here, but you can just feel the Tiger spirit down here on the sideline.
Walker. Gives it away to Lauder. Drops the ball in the tackle. Forced loose. Daniel Wagon takes across to his right-hand side before he's brought down. Just inside their own 30-metre line for the Eels. Custo plays it. Comes to Kalis. 9 metres short of the halfway line. Custo again in a dummy half. DePena just takes it forward. No way through for him. Custo got away from the markers. Good pass to Dimmick. Looking to spin and keep it alive. He will via a quick play the ball. Quinn pushed away from Webster. Grubbers for himself. Lulin going back. Can't hang on to it. Played at by the Tigers. Lost by Shafosky as well. And it should be a knock-on by the Eels. We'll see what open rules. And he said backwards both ways. It will be a Parramatta loosened feed.
Went backwards both ways all the time. Blake's gone into touch. Okay, tackle completed.
Well, he's got it right.
All in one motion. Just hold
Difficult to judge. The players obviously feeling the strain a little bit. Frustration for the Balmain guys. Not seeing much of the football. The rare opportunity wasted after just 3 tackles.
Come on, Dave.
Penner. The urge of the mark open, gets the ball into the scrum to Dimmick. Webster hanging on for grim life. Kelly goes to the blind side. Beats the first tackle. Webster it was who got him 5 metres out with the help of Field. Custo of dummy half. Dimmick standing wide at first receiver. Tries to step back inside them. No way past Nabel and Walker. Kalis. Players outside him. Had McCracken looming up. Take it forward himself. Still 5 metres away from the line. A quick play the ball in the end. Custo, though, was hammered by Carlo over the top. Smith underneath as well has done a power of work in defence so far. Kidwell. A long pass to Penner, who drops it for the second time close to the Balmain line.
And put that down to 2 or 3 blokes that did a bit of work to get off the line. Walker was one of the guys that absolutely sprinted away to put some sort of pressure on the kicker. They knew that they didn't want a repeat set of 6, as there will be now coming up for the Balmain side. A penalty giving them the opportunity to finally get out of their own territory.
This is the penalty. Mark open once again. The Parramatta defence creeping up a little bit too quickly on the fringes of the ruck. It's Field who'll find touch just short of the halfway line. I have to admire the way the Tigers have handled this 15 or so minutes, even more now, since Parramatta scored through Shafosky to open up the scoring. Walker picks up 12 metres. Tigers looking to On a 4-pointer of their own. Carlo on the run around, gives it back to field. He turns it away to Lulin. Tackled by Kidwell. 25 out from the Parramatta line. Tyron Smith. Been good so far. Mark Tukey once again a driving tackle. Field running to the line. Kicking early in the count. Across the top, it was a well-placed kick. Wagon took the ball in midair after leaving the ground from the field of play, and it will be a goal line dropout. The Tigers doing nicely. Yeah, that was a great set. I've got to give a rap to Shane Walker. I think Balmain have got to build their game on the back of him and Lowry. He had a great run then, and I think that the more times he's involved, the better Balmain will go, of course. And I think Walker's running with common sense. He's not trying to smash his way through in difficult situations. He's simply putting the ball in the hand furthest from the defender, ensuring that he gets the territory fine, and making sure that he doesn't turn over a ball in a risky situation. Here's Lauder. Oh, Tukey once again, a driving tackle with Kalis there has forced the ball loose from Hayes Lauder's grasp, but he's pretty ordinary as he gets back to his feet. But Mark Tukey is coming up with some enormous hits. Well, not too bad, thanks. That was a great hit. Parramatta's defence is violent at times, and on their road to the semi-finals, that's going to be their key aspect. Their great defence, violent at times. Kidwell. Does Parramatta win the ball? Gets away from the tackle there of Andrew Meads, and eventually it's Lowry who grabs him. 12 metres on their own side of halfway. Custo gives it away to Kalis. Mark open. He's insistent he'll get these two sides back the full 10 metres. Yeah, Balmain on this occasion, one of the offenders. No problem whatsoever. There was about 2 or 3 players that were a whole pile of room in front of him. Adam Nabel was the worst offender. Territory's tough enough to grab tonight in conditions like this without handing them 20 or 30 metres through a penalty kick. Luke Bird on the field in jumper 17. Taps it. Gives it off to Dallas Weston. Bird from dummy half. Started in the centres last week against Penrith. Back to the interchange bench this week. The inclusion of Stuart Kelly. Once again, some strong defence. Hayes Lauder it was. Kalis. Good pass for Weston. Equally good defence again from the Tigers. They've been rock solid inside their own 20. Apart from that one occasion, of course, when Lulin raced up and Schifosky was able to cross. Custo gets monstered by Mark O'Neill. Schiffolidi on the last tackle, fires it to Dimmick. Grubbering, looking for 6 more tackles perhaps. Joel Kane goes to his knees, was going to make it back to the field of play before he was met by Vella and Dimmick. Impersonating a pinball on that occasion. But first and foremost, he just ensured that he wasn't going to make any mistakes. Half an opportunity opened up. Dimmick and Vella, the men, put him way back behind the line. This is going to be pretty tough. This is when the men get sorted out from the boys' ball. Yeah, these repeats set of 6. Balmain might be able to get away with them now, but later on in the second half, they will pay their price. It's important with kicks like that. Schifosky done a great job before Parramatta get out. He had no right to. It's so important. Field with the restart. You saw the possession there, 61% to Parramatta. Wagon plays it. Comes to Chris Quinn. Dive through the defence, close to the ruck there. Schiffolidi. Gives it away to Hindmarsh. Just take it forward for 3 settlers. Dimmick to the right-hand side at first receiver. On the reverse play, the Brooklyn, as Hindmarsh plays it. Schiffolidi to Custo. Grubbering for the in-goal again. Morecambe, for the 3rd time in the game, has to go back and knock it dead. And Balmain will have to line up in defence for this 3rd consecutive time. Gee, there have been some repeat sets in this game. Yeah, very clever play. You've got to give a huge rap to them. Balmain as well, though, you've got to remember that they keep making Newcastle putting the ball on the floor. Plenty of energy being used up in the tack. They've done very well. You just see why that they're so good in this department. They don't concede all that many tries. Field with the goal line dropout, taken by David Kidwell. You'd like to see Parramatta be a little bit more organised this set of 6. They basically wasted that last one. They need a little bit more direction. See what they can come up with as Dimmick gives it off. The Daniel Wagon almost got away there from the tackle of Darren Centre. He hung on to him, and a good thing too. Vella hits the advantage line, going at speed. taken in a high tackle there, right around the shoulders. It was an effective one too. It was Darren Centre once again. Kalis, cut-out pass. Custo steps back inside field, slings a pass away to Stuart Kelly. He gives it back to Kalis. He's tackled by field. The Tigers are just so impressive in defence. Inspired tonight here against Parramatta. Skiffalidi, or Kelly it was, who flipped it up for Dimmick. Kicking, and it will be too big. Batted over the dead ball line by Morecambe, but he had the ball in the hand as he had his foot on the other side of the dead ball line at the same time, and the Tigers will restart it from the 20. Finally, they get the ball back in their hands. Field to O'Neill. Field calling for it, wants to quick play the ball, gets it off to Hancock. Comes at Wagon and Kelly before he's tackled, 5 short of the halfway line. It's a good defence that Balmain have had to come up with, and so many of those tackles inside their own 20-metre line. It's a credit to them. They've only given up 4 points so far. Stimson gives it away to centre. One more tackle for them. 45 out. Field comes back to his right-hand side, trying to kick away from Quinn. Did a good job at that as well. Bird scampered back to the field of play, got around the first defender quite easily. Needs came from behind to drag him down, but the Tigers picked up plenty of metres in that set of 6.
Yeah, they did, but they only had one chaser, and I think that's a direct indication of a little bit of the weariness that's been cast upon them by Parramatta's consistent ability to turn back-to-back sets of 6 over. Some pretty tired blokes out there at the moment. They're putting up a brave effort.
Well, you did right, Wally. There's not much tank left in this for the Tigers here in this first half, and these are the areas you can switch on down on your own try line, but when you're about 60 or 70 metres out, you seem to take your foot off the pedalist fraction, and that's when you're open for anything.
Custo, a ricochet as it came off the back there of Meads before Morecambe was able to dive on it as Burt was coming through very quickly. The Tigers have it in good position. Another impressive defensive set for them. Still just over 6 minutes left in this first half. Lowry takes it forward. He's met by McCracken just on the halfway line. Centre, now a dummy half. Dummying. Stimson it was who ran past him and he held onto the ball. Meads with that right foot to try and link up with players to his left-hand side. One more tackle as Field goes high to the air this time. Good Tigers chase coming up. They got there. Burt couldn't bring it down. Morecambe got it.
He was offside.
But it was touched.
Balmain touched
by a Balmain player before Morecambe came up with it. He was ruled to be in an offside position, so Parramatta get the penalty.
Very well placed kick. Ball going up. Field, of course, the man that's in charge of the kicking duties, simply ricocheting forward. There's no problem with that whatsoever. And the Eels not wasting any time getting on with the game. They know that they're playing against a tired bunch at the moment.
See the ball there ricocheting off the shoulder of Craig Hancock, it was, and it went forward to Chris Morecambe. Hence the penalty. Skiffalidi brought down on the mid-stripe. And this time a penalty to the Tigers.
Not on you. You're down on it.
Skiffalidi too eager to play the ball.
Yeah, I'll give you a warning back there. I'll give you a warning back there. He's got to go. Come on, come on.
Brian Smith watches on as Skiffalidi gives up the penalty for not regaining his feet before playing the ball. You can see he placed the ball on the ground there. In fact, he had both knees on the ground, and then he's still on his left knee when he tried to play the ball with his right foot.
Sorry, I don't think Jared had much of a case there to saying that he was holding his legs there. The arms wrapped around the stomach, sure.
Sort of, that's part of Brian Smith's tactics. Quick play the ball, difficult in these conditions to get back to 5. They're looking to get some penalties and, of course, some field position.
Stimson plays it back to centre. Again, it comes to Stimson. They keep it alive. Field. Players outside him. He looks for the in-goal area. It's a good kick. Ah, Shafoski couldn't come up with it, and the Tigers have scored. Mark Oaten wants to check it.
John,
but I think you'll find there's no problem here.
Anyway, before the other bloke touches down.
Well, Mark Oaten asking for was inquiring whether there was any downward pressure exerted by Clinton Shafoski. before Field managed to get through. Pretty impossible to tell from that angle. And there's the hero of Leichhardt at the moment getting on top. But we probably need another angle or two to decide whether there was any pressure from Shafoski. And I'd say that even if there was, it tended to be outside the line. Nope. Well, the footballer was travelling along and all of a sudden it just hit the sand. Very difficult. You've got to try and make contact with the ball. There'll be short odds on that one, Chief.
Yes. It's proven to be the perfect tactic in these conditions today.
Well, you can just imagine, I think we can safely say that as the green light goes up to the delight of the locals, that once the boys go in, the Balmain boys at half-time, perhaps going to be rejuvenated a fair bit. The game's been played in exactly the wrong position for them for the vast majority of the game, yet they're going to take a half-time lead with them. It's funny, isn't it, rugby league? Parramatta had all the ascendancy, all the ball, and just because Balmain held them out with that bit of spirit, it kind of, the ascendancy's back with Balmain, they've scored the try, and it's really breaking Parramatta's back. The only thing going for Balmain now, even though they're fatigued for the second half, the closer they stay within striking distance of Parramatta, now they're in the lead, they'll come home on that spirit. It's going to be a great second half.
Joel Kane looking to extend this lead. Hits it, looking for the breeze to bring it back off the upright. Perhaps it is the Tigers' night. Balmain lead Parramatta 8 points to 4 here at Leichhardt. Just 3 minutes out from the break. 1 try each in this first half. 2 kicks to Balmain are the difference.
Well, plenty of things in a game are very valuable, but Russell, the value of 1 penalty really displaying itself there, going against the attacking team.
Yeah, certainly was. You don't see that happen. I know Brian Smith will be ready to rip apart his side at half-time. They had a great opportunity. They spilled a couple of balls down the opposition's 22 and then gave away that penalty. He will be absolutely ropeable.
Mark Stimson it is who'll play it on the Tigers 20. They lead the Eels. The competition leaders by 4 points.
He's had a great game, Shane Walker. Look at the spirit in them now. They're really firing up Balmain.
Terrific run again. O'Neill down a short blind side. A good tackle. It's Hindmarsh who made it. Michael Gillette in there at first receiver. Kick charge down from Craig Field and it bounces up. Comes to Skiffolidi. He wheels and is tackled 5 metres into Balmain's territory. Perhaps one last chance before the break for the Eels to reply to that try by Craig Field. Chris Quinn gives it off to Wagon. Tackled down low by centre. Stimson across the top. And an impact he's had since coming off the bench. Dimmick to Tukey. Dumps it off to Dimmick once again. But not much happening for the Eels.
You're going to put your hand in there, I'll penalise it.
And you heard Mark Oaten say it. Hands there in the play the ball. Parramatta.
In front of you, I thought you were going to take a tap.
As we come down towards the last minute of this first half, as Dawn Fraser and Laurie Nichols look on, of course. 2 famous names as far as Balmain go, and I think it must be the first time I've ever seen Laurie Nichols in anything other than a singlet.
I was going to say, you're a wimp, Laurie. You've worn a coat. I saw this bloke in England in 1986. It was -3 in a game, and he was running around in a singlet. Well, perhaps the conditions weren't quite as bad.
I can tell you, I spoke to Laurie. He has a Balmain singlet underneath that, and it's a very thin spray jacket, let me tell you.
So Shafoski will have this kick from 25 metres out. Try and get the Eels back within 2 points at the break. A half of football from Balmain. Gave up the try to Shafoski in the 6th minute. And I'm sure this big crowd here at Leichhardt were worried. It might have been the first of many for the Eels tonight, but just like it was against Newcastle here in their last win. Tigers once again have been so impressive inside their own 20, keeping the Eels at bay. Shafoski strikes it and it slews off to the right-hand side. He won't kick it dead either, and they'll bring it back to the field of play through Joel Kane. That will see us out for half-time. Mark Oden blows his whistle, and listen to this ovation that the locals here at Leichhardt will give the Tigers as they make it back to the dressing sheds at half-time, leading the Eels by a score of 8 points to 4. They came here hoping for a fairy tale ending, and so far, Wally Lewis, they're getting what they paid for.
Well, they're getting what they paid for, but they're getting what they deserve, the Balmain boys, because the vast majority of that first 40 minutes severely went against them. They played it at the opposite end of the field that they required. Not too many breaks went their way. A lot of times it was just sheer determination and desperation that saved some tough encounters for them. I think they're matching up pretty well in all departments other than the kick to get a restart of 6 and the marker area. That's the one area that I think Balmain have probably got to address more than anything else.
And Paul, as the Tigers come back to their rooms, you'd think the Eels would be disappointed that they've had so much possession inside Balmain's 20 but have so little points to show for it.
Yeah, they certainly have not converted their possession into points, but again, I think you just got to admire Balmain's fitness. They've absorbed all that punishment and been able to come back there in the last stage of the first half to score the try, going into the break on the lead, and as I said before, it's really setting up for a superb second half.
The rain continues at Leichhardt, but so far it's not spoiling this finale for the Black and Golds. The Tigers lead the Eels 8 points to 4 at half-time. We'll take a break and come back and look at all the highlights from the first half right after this. Stats from this first half here this evening at Leichhardt Oval between the Balmain Tigers and the Parramatta Eels tell a very interesting story. Wally, you look at possession there, 59% of it to the Parramatta Eels, but they trail on the board.
Yeah, only 40% of the possession, and the majority of that played in their own half. I've got to say, though, if you probably looked at that stat 10 minutes before the half-time bell, it probably would have been around about 70% of their own half of the field. They're managing to hang on to the ball pretty well. Their completion rate is going up. Parramatta's has been quite good all the way through. Very surprising, though, to see that the missed tackles there, 9 for Balmain. You'd expect to see Parramatta cash in on that a little bit more. Not too many points on the board for so much of a dominance in that area.
Nathan Hindmarsh, very involved in the first half. See there, most metres in the game so far as the forwards are concerned, 58 metres. Vella with 52, centre with 52 as well, and Jason Lowry, just to back up his good work, 57 metres going forward for the Tigers. They're back out, almost ready for the start of this second half. The Tigers' first game at Leichhardt was on Anzac Day back in 1934. They went down to the Western Suburbs Magpies on that occasion. It's Mark Ayton blows time on, and Craig Field gets us back underway. They lost their first game here at Leichhardt, but they might finish it with a famous victory here tonight, and it would be a very important win. Not so much as far as the final 8 goes, of course, for Balmain, who are out of contention, but Parramatta, a loss here tonight would have big consequences as far as their finals campaign is concerned.
Yeah, it's going to be some important games this weekend. They could go from the top of the ladder to 5th spot. So that would be a little bit worrying for their coach, Brian Smith. Of course, the averages is going to play a very important part of it.
Daniel Wagon across the halfway line. Tigers will run towards the stands at the southern end at Leichhardt. It was always said that they would plan it that way, try and run towards the stands in the second half here, playing at home and be inspired by the fans. Joel Kane has to go back into the in-goal briefly to bring the ball back to the field of play. Morecambe, plenty of work to do in the first half, most of it knocking the ball dead over his own dead ball line. Nabel to the way to Luland. Mark Stimson starts the second half. A lot of minutes in the first half after coming off the bench. They've coughed it up early here in this second half.
Well, it was a pass that didn't need to be thrown. Make sure that they make the most of every opportunity. A good Parramatta defence, but the offload really didn't need. The chance didn't need to be taken on that occasion. Now Parramatta really have the golden opportunity. And of course, we're looking at an Eels outfit that hasn't bothered to use Jason Smith at the moment. The big question is just when is he going to be used?
Jim Dimmick. 26 metres out from the Tigers line. You get the feeling it's an important set of 6 here coming up for Balmain. Wagon. Skiffality, dummy half for Dimmick. He turns it back for Michael Vella. Wrapped up. Wall of black and gold again. Stimson in there with Nabel and Shane Walker. Terrific game so far from the Balmain forwards. Costo gives it off to Dimmick. Lowry has the back slamming. Skiffality showing it one way, ducking the other. Picks up 10 metres or so. He gets to within 5 of the Balmain line. One more tackle for them. Dimmick, they work it very deep. Ben Custo passes to Wagon. He gives it off to Hindmarsh, to Kelly, grubbering for the in goal, getting through, trying to get a hand on it was Luke Burt. He was there, trying to beat Tyron Smith to the ball.
Onside and see whether he got a hand on it to ground the ball.
And Mark Oaten will have a look at this on the video. The Parramatta players, though, I must say, don't seem all that confident.
Well, Luke Burt's got no doubt in his mind. He's just about back to the halfway at the moment. He's just crossing the 40-metre mark. Nodded to his teammates. Everything's A-OK. They're all heading back. A surprise element here used by the Eels, running the ball on the last tackle, and it certainly worked. They had 5 on 3. Young Luke Burt coming from the clouds. Well, I don't think that ball's been grounded. Make your own call on it. I suppose a different angle may give us a different shot, Paul, but
yeah, the pressure seems to be sideways more so than downward pressure, doesn't it, really?
Whether it's been pushed forward. It's interesting to watch the teams on the field here. Neither is giving an inch. Well, has that just been touched down first?
It's hard to tell from this angle whether it's been shuffled forwards or whether there's downward pressure. Is it lateral pressure or downward pressure? I guess that's the question. But I tell you what, if it favours Balmain, they'll make an extra 30 yards because Parramatta are way back over halfway.
The Eels have changed their minds, having seen the first replay. You're exactly right, Russell, and the Eels are back behind the halfway line. It's amazing that Luke Burt got there in the first place because it looked as though Tyron Smith had the ball covered for all money, and here we are in slow motion. The video referee is John Yard, and of course, looking at it in slow motion gives you sometimes a vastly different opinion as to what you would come up with if it was played in normal motion.
Yeah, very interesting to see. Just 2 replays before that.
No try, and it will be a restart from the 20-metre line. The Tigers are ready, standing at the 20. Adam Nabel with the ball in his hands, and now the Eels have to trot all the way back up to take their position on the 30-metre line in defence.
I think Luke Burt deserves a rap there. He had no rights to get there. That was superb. He can finish off tries.
Lowry will play it. So a let-off, perhaps, for the Tigers. Hard call to make. Video referee John Yard went to the red line.
Well, that was one of the things Brian Smith spoke to his side about at half-time. He wanted the Eels to try and score first in this first half, in this second half. He wants a bit more speed at the play-the-ball area, and he's looking for plenty of dummy half running in this second half. The Tigers was a pretty simple message. Wayne Pearce said, just keep going forward and have a real good kick and chase game, and we can get these guys.
Oh, it's not just the Parramatta forwards that have got to aim up now. Stuart Kelly was the man that came up with that tackle to turn over possession. They now have a real golden chance to erase a little bit of the disappointment that they've had over the last couple of minutes.
Custo tackled just outside the Balmain 20. Skiffalidi waits at dummy half to Dimmick. Cut-out ball taken by Hindmarsh, dumps it back to Dimmick. Played at and surely knocked on by the 5/8, and that's what Mark Oaten rules. So a couple of clumsy pieces of play from both sides here, but have a look at that rain and the mud and the water that's forming across Leichhardt Oval here. You can understand why there have been a fair few knock-ons to open up this second half.
Well, Jim Dimmick still protesting. He believes that when the first contact was made with his hand, the ball went backward and then cannoned off his foot. Well, the replay seemed to have some case, but the referee didn't agree with it. Fortunately, that's the one that matters.
Luland has it. Smith goes to his right-hand side to Smith. Nabel away from dummy half, showing it. It was taken by McCracken. Second row made a good tackle. Field kicking before the last once again. A high ball which will come down to Luke Burt. Once again, the chase from Balmain isn't a good one. Took them a long time to get up in a straight line, and only the fact that Burt went a long way across field enabled Darren Centre to get up, or Nable, in fact, it was, to make the tackle. Got out of it not too badly, the Tigers, but could have been a lot worse. Kidwell. Strong opening to the game. Didn't see a lot of him in the last 20 minutes or so. Wagon. Plays it back to Kidwell. Tyrone Smith, strong around the shoulders. Wagon. Ball back on the inside. Line breaks, few and far between for either side, but especially the Eels. Tigers have been terrific. High ball, pressure for Luland. And the youngster, playing just his 4th game in the top grade, did very nicely.
He did, but I think that the Parramatta guys have got to place their kicks a little bit better. Sure, the high balls are very difficult to defuse the bomb in that situation, but in wet conditions, I think they've got to make them run a little bit. Sure, put the ball high, but make them run 10 or 15 metres just to make it that much more difficult.
Carlo plays it back to Nable. Centre. Back into the combination there of Kalis and Hindmarsh. Lauder struggling to get back to his feet. Field, once again, pressure getting through there from Skiffalidi was good. And restricted the kick from field. It wasn't a good one. And here's Parramatta with the ball already in Balmain territory. See that possession increasing from the first half. Eels, the majority of the ball, but still behind the scoreboard. 7 minutes now into this second half. It's still the Tigers leading the Eels 8 points to 4. Kelly will play it. Skiffalidi showing it. The second occasion he turns it to Quinn. Turned over on his back, and a good tackle from centre. Hancock there as well. Slowed to play the ball down. Custo hit after he got the ball away. It's play on from Mark Oaten. As Kane got across to field it. Just inside his own 10-metre line. After a couple of knock-ons from the Tigers early in this second half, Paul, it would have been easy for the Eels to come out and perhaps score a try, and easy for the Tigers to drop off in defence, but they've picked up exactly where they left off.
Yeah, they're very resilient, Balmain, but they really do need to get into their routine, just complete the sets. That is terrific go forward, exactly what they need there from Jason Lowry.
I'll tell you what has picked up, the rain. It is the heaviest it's been all match.
That's a terrific set of 6 in Balmain. Kick wasn't so crash hot, but a great go forward set.
Quinn gives it off to Bird. Tackled by Lowry. With a great hit up in the previous set of 6. Here's Kelly. Look at the rain. It really is belting down now. On the halfway line there, pools of water forming quite noticeably there. As Mark Tukey busts them open. He got past Kane as well with a step. What a piece of play from the big man. He got the ball back to David Penner. Oh, what a Parramatta try. And Mark Tukey running like a halfback. It's outrageous.
Turn it up, the big fella's got a sidestep.
He's got feet.
Did you have one like that, Chief?
Had nothing.
A sidestep. I tell you what, he planned that. Just watch him. From the moment he got the football, he had it in his mind that he was going to bust the line. He's come up with the dummies, transferred the ball, a sidestep, used the fend, then simply rocked the ball around the corner to the support player, and a huge pat on the back as well to David Penner. There wasn't another player within 25 metres.
Well, Mark Tukey, that's game-breaking material. Busted through those 2 tackles with ease. A nice right foot there, a one-armed pass there to Penner, and he'd finish off superbly. What a great try.
Just the second clean line break of the game to Parramatta, and it results in 4 points. David Penner picks up his 4th try of the season, the 31st of his career, and he has locked the scores up here at Leichhardt. On this last occasion, the Black and Golds will play as the Balmain Tigers on their home ground. Score is once again even. 8 points all, and Clinton Schifosky just to the left of the post will look to put Parramatta back in front. rain continues to pour down. A simple kick. Nothing simple in these conditions. But he stuck it between the posts, and Parramatta have the lead once again. They lead the Tigers 10 points to 8.
Big Mark Turkey, this is his kind of conditions. It's just like a big front end loader, just goes over any terrain. Someone had enough sense to keep up with him, and that was David Penner, and well, they've hit the lead. That's just what they wanted.
The Tigers trail by 2. Craigfield with the kick. The rain at the moment showing no signs of easing off. In fact, in the last 30 seconds, it's got even heavier, if you can believe that. An incredible run from Mark Tukey. It would please that man no end to see his big man having such a big game so close to the finals. What an acquisition he's going to be for the Auckland Warriors if he can continue this sort of form. They lose it at the Parramatta side. It comes down to Hayes Lauder. The Tigers have it. Just on Parramatta side of halfway. Possession. It's going to be so crucial now with this rain pouring down in this last half an hour. One side could easily camp themselves at either end of the field. Carlaw. Inside the Eels 40. Nabel. Bypassed Tyron Smith. Gave it off to Darren Centre. He can barely keep his feet. And you see that completion rate. It was so good from both teams in the first half, dropping away now as the rain continues to belt down at Leichhardt. Tyron Smith just outside the Eels 20. As the voices rise on the hill here at Leichhardt. Nabel falling awkwardly there with the tackle of David Kidwell. One more tackle. Field gets the ball eventually. Now he goes to the air. It goes across field, blown back a little bit by the wind as well. Played out by Lowry, and it comes down to Daniel Wagon. So the Eels hang on. Now they have to try and work it out from inside their own 20.
I was just about to say, with the rain coming down so hard now, the game tactics have got to change a little bit, and bombs will come into play, although that bomb wasn't successful. They've got to do it right on the try line and auction off those kicks, because breaking the line is so hard to do. Let's go for the bomb.
Kidwell. Tackled well by John Carlaw. And there as well as Mark Luland. Hindmarsh to Dimmick. To Vella. Of course, we've seen so little of Jason Smith in this game, Wally. Oh, as Custo makes a mistake. Looking to get the kick away. A changeover on the last tackle. That's when the mistake came. Here come Balmain. Couldn't get the ball there, Craigfield. He was looking for it quickly to get play back underway, and it could have easily been a penalty to the Tigers. Now they have it. Walker pops it up. What a pass to Craig Hancock. Running at them, taking it towards the post. Just 2 points in it. Nabel waits at dummy half. We'll see if they take the Chiefs' advice. Field gives it off to Lauder. He knocks it forward. Played backwards, said Marco. Sure, it came off the hands of Lauder, went forward and then bounced off a Parramatta player. Came backwards. Play on anyway. Lowry gives it to Wagon. He's just 7 metres out. He lost it this time. Perhaps justice after all for the Eels.
Yeah, it certainly looked like the previous ruck had been spilt forward. Possession's going to play the single role in determining the outcome of this match from now. Whoever can hang on to the football. We may even see sides, of course, simply opt not even to run the full set of 6 out, to kick on 3 and 4 if they can get themselves into a good field position.
Kelly running from dummy half. The safest way at the moment to hang on to the ball, of course. He takes it almost to the 30-metre line. Bird doing likewise. Schiffolidi comes back to Wagon. He's 8 metres short of the halfway line. Dimmick, he'll kick from first receiver to the open spaces. Luton was playing up in the line with a couple of tackles left in that set of 6, and Joel Kane comes away from his own 10-metre line.
That's the type of set of 6 you want, where they've just about gone about 100 metres in. Tremendous set.
Balmain very slow to get back. They've taken 2 tackles to get back with their forwards to start taking the ball up. And that's a clear sign that they're really feeling the pinch.
Luland off his wing in to help the forwards out. Centre plays it. Naval fires the pass to Walker. And the Wagon playing close into the ruck there in the defensive line, and Walker ran at him, but Neil, the number 5 in his back, was able to make the tackle. Field looking for the chip in behind them. Chris Quinn, though, did very nicely to take it on the first bounce. He has it 15 metres short of the halfway line. So Field varying the tactics with the kick there, not looking for space or perhaps territory, kicking it deep to the in goal.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it was the right one, though, Warren. Admittedly, he's making it a little bit hard for them to read, but there was still the element there that it wasn't going to come off. They've got to try and make sure that they can guarantee that they're going to finish in the right area of the football field.
And it's really tough in these conditions, Wally, because as you know, the ball will just hit the ground and sit there. There'll be no bounce, there'll be no run on it, won't stick, it won't sit up for the kicker.
David Penner looking for the touchline. Morecambe under some pressure here as he feels it just in the field of play as far as the touchline is concerned. Burt was getting through, and Meter was so close to the line, and Morecambe was a candidate to be driven over the sideline in these slippery conditions. Tigers once again have to do it tough to work it from inside their own 20. Luland, he's met by some strong defence. Hindmarsh and Wagon. Hancock. Crowd for the moment of Leichhardt, the quietest they've been, perhaps. Charge downfield.
6 to go. Touchdown.
It was Kalis who got up very quickly on him. He was close to the advantage line, Craig Field, when he took the pass, and Kalis picked him off very easily. And luckily for Craig Field, it bounced almost straight back to him as it fell at his feet.
Yeah, it was a bit of a risky option to take there, because there weren't too many of the Balmain teammates ready to put Chase in anyway.
Centre taking it up towards the halfway line. Break for the Tigers. See if they can make good use of it here. Down the blind side they go. Gillette has the ball knocked away from his hands, and it will come down to Schifosky. Oh, gives it back to Chris Quinn, who had to reach out and grab it in a hurry. He almost could have put it down. Quinn. Comes to Hindmarsh. Tries to spin away from the tackler. Gives it back to Quinn. He gave it off to Stuart Kelly. On the reverse, Luke Bird heading back in field. He plays it to Quinn. All the time close to the ruck. Gives way to the dummy half duties on this occasion to Schiffolidi. Kalis. 40 out from the Balmain line. 18 minutes into the second half. Kidwell has to push away from Carlo. Successful. Gillette hung on to him, but he was able to get the ball away to Schiffolidi. And they'll play it on the last, 28 metres out from the Tigers' line. Stimson on the wrist there, giving a penalty away on the last. And they got the kick away, but only just. Luke Burt in mid-air, played it, it went backwards. And Chris Morecambe didn't want to play the ball in case he was taken over the touchline. In the end, it was probably a good decision. A risky one at that, though.
Yeah, even though it's a historic night for Balmain tonight, they really do need to complete some sets. And as Wally said, get up the other end of the field. The last two, they haven't done that. I don't think they've got much left in their tank if they keep proceeding the same way.
And you see, bombs in 99 as far as either side is concerned. The Tigers lead the league. Field. Pass away, didn't find the hands of Hancock or Morecambe, and they have turned it over inside their own half. There you see the crowd tonight, 15,240, the biggest crowd the Tigers have attracted this year, and we can only wonder how bigger it might have been had the rain not poured down in Sydney this afternoon. I'm sure it would have been over 20,000.
Well, I guess the question there is, where were they when they needed them, when they were undergoing this merger talks, and they needed some crowds out here to maybe stand alone? They didn't turn up, yet they do on a rain, well, on probably the wettest night all year, they turn up.
It just seems to be the character of the game at the moment that Balmain look like they're battling a little bit. Parramatta are just getting on the edge of a roll and keep managing to force mistakes, and they're spending the vast majority of the second half in this team. But I put the bad curse on them.
Dimmick got the pass away to Quinn, it was, who put it down, and the Tigers, through Mark O'Neill, swooped on it. Now Meads comes away with it. Almost back to the halfway line. Scoring chances in this second half, few and far between. Perhaps the best of them came to Luke Burt, but he was denied by the video referee, John Yard. Midway into this second half, torrential rain almost at Leichhardt. Centre. Hard tackle from Jim Dimmick. It's been the focus of the attack tonight for the Eels. Lowry. Field from dummy half. In the reversal. Comes back to the short side. Meads showing it to Hancock. Showing it again to Morecambe before he put the pedal down and almost got away from Luke Burt's tackle. Walker to Field. Here he goes to the air. Pressure for Shafosky amongst others going up. They couldn't get a hand to it. Coming through. Shafosky perhaps got the ball away, but the Tigers think one of their players has dived on it. Mark Luland might have scored.
Before the Balmain played grounded it.
Well, it looked like a strange choice as well, Warren, to let the ball bounce. There appeared to be one or two Eels players around where the ball was going to bounce. Certainly everyone around it, including the Parramatta players, believe that it's a try. Again, Craig Field putting up a great ball, finished in the right spot. Oh, ball looks like it's drifted back over his shoulder, but there weren't too many other players there.
Looks like a try to me. I can't understand why the tactics of kicking like this on the try line haven't been done all night. It's so hard to break the line. It's so hard to catch the ball. It's an auction. It's 50-50. Anyone can get the ball. He's missed it completely, straight over his head. And I think this is a dead set try. He's grounded the ball nicely there. There you go.
Mark Luland threw it in the air. He's extremely confident that he was able to score. This angle might give us the seal of approval. Diving on it. It looks pretty good. Shafosky was desperate to get there, but didn't come up with a ball, and Mark Oden immediately signalled that he wanted to take a look at it on the video. And we await the decision of John Yard. The green light flashes, and the Tigers are back in front once again.
Wally, isn't it funny how, again, Parramatta had all the possession, all the ascendancy, just because Balmain held them out, everything's turned around.
Laurie Nichols, shadow boxes in the Latcham Robinson stand here at Leichhardt. The Tigers on track to leave Leichhardt as the Balmain Tigers on the highest of notes.
Yeah, wonderfully placed kick, but the Chief just mentioned a disappointment for the Parramatta team because they had control of the game for 7 or 8 minutes before that. Their opponents just weren't in the game. This could stretch the gap to 4 points. The share prices of the football at the moment are pretty good.
Kane extends the lead, and Balmain lead the Eels 14 points to 10. It's still pouring down here at Leichhardt, but they've seen this man in just his 4th game of first grade, Mark Luland, put them back in front for the 2nd time in the game. So the Eels did it tough last week against Penrith.
Stay with him.
And once again, if they're to win this game, they'll have to come from behind.
Well, there's no doubt that game last week against Penrith has taken its toll. Parramatta aren't as, well, they don't look as sharp as they did in the first half. And maybe they're starting to feel the pinch a little bit themselves, because I know last week's game against the Panthers was a real tough one.
Meads pushes the pass, he gives it to Luland, but the youngster hung onto it. It's taken backwards to 10 metres short of the halfway line. Stimson, he takes it forward. Another good tackle by Tukey. These hits have really counted tonight. Centre, across the halfway line. It's the worst of nights, but working perhaps in Balmain's favour at the moment. Field, grubbering behind the line. Kelly was going back for it. The ball stopped on a dime, and luckily for them, he was able to get it at the second occasion because Field got another boot to it, but the ball stuck like glue once again.
Yeah, not just the possession favouring Parramatta at that stage, but where the ball pulled up, you could expect that a kick was going to earn them another 20 or 30 metres. But Russell, on the sideline there, a lot of us here are wondering just what's going on with Jason Smith. You'd expect to see a guy of his experience. Is there any problem? He was named in the run-on side, hasn't made it on yet, and unless the guys that had the sheep didn't want to run through the game to let us know.
Well, I can tell you what, I did see him up once, warming up and stretching. Other than that, I haven't seen him on this sideline just for that one occasion. So I guess there is a problem there, and Brian Smith is reluctant to use him. Considering, I think it's a groin injury, in wet weather conditions, there's every possibility of, doing further damage, and I guess it may be a precautionary thing as far as Brian Smith goes.
We can see that error there. I know it's stating the obvious, but Balmain really gaining the ascendancy now, and I think the rain's up the ante also. It's even raining harder.
Michael Gillette will play it for the Tigers. Just into Parramatta territory, rather. Carlo. Needs, showing it, jinking, weaving, doing everything but getting past David Kidwell. This game now is Balmain's to lose. They lead by 4 points as Tyron Smith almost gets away from Mark Tukey. Terrific run. Listen to them here at Leichhardt responding. Field running at the line, chipping in behind the line, but Luke Bird is there to take it on the full. Wasn't the best of kicks from Field.
That was a poor option. Really get the pressure off there.
Skiffletti plays it, looking for a quick play of the ball as well. Sense of urgency coming into the Eels play now. They realise that 4 points in these conditions is a big ask to try and bridge. Might do it tough to get back to a scoring position before the game's out the way the rain's falling. Quinn will play it back to Skiffletti. Custo. Drive it as far downfield as he can, and in the conditions a terrific kick, almost 50 metres on the fly. Kane sliding and gets hammered by Kidwell. This will give him another one to go on with as well.
That was a great hit.
Carlo has it back to Morecambe. Just short of the halfway line. Walker back on the field after getting a break from his coach, Wayne Pearce. Harry's hindmast with him for a couple of metres. Field, this time, looking for that in-goal area. The ball skids. Will it stop? Unbelievable. An inch away from the touchline. The touch in goal line, in fact. And Chris Quinn says, I'll just put my foot on that line and concede a goal line dropout. Can you believe that kick?
That was amazing. Pinpoint accuracy. Obviously the rain has pulled that up, but that's within inches. Perfect kick.
Well, he's probably wishing that he had sprinted across a little bit quicker to get there. Perhaps being able to make contact while the ball was still rolling. There's 21 kicks tonight. I have to say 20 of them have been worth cashing in on.
Leland takes it forward. 20 metres out. Looking for perhaps what could just be a ceiling try here, and what would be an incredible victory for Balmain considering their form in recent times. Field to O'Neill. And Hancock outside him. Put away now and they play the ball quickly to Walker. Standing wide at first receiver. Possession still heavily in favour of Parramatta. Gillette got past one, gave it back to Joel Kane, got across the line, but did he get the ball down? He got it there eventually, but Mark Oaten wants to see if he got it down at the first occasion.
Check that.
I think you might have dropped it too, I don't know.
That's all right, I'm looking. Yeah. Thanks, Chris. I've got it.
Nice of Chris Quinn to offer the advice to the referee that he thinks he might have dropped it as well. Well, he's been held up there, I think, long enough for most to say that it was a fair time in the air. Just how long the video replay requires it to be in the air before he made second contact. May upset a few of the locals. I don't think you could say that he's lost the ball, but, well, he has there. It looks like he's regained control and then put the football down. Well, They employ video replays for that, Chief.
Yeah, mate, that's a tough one, that one. Again, it comes down to time lapse, the time frame of it all. But it was a great set move, and they were ready for that play 2 sets earlier. Another clean break and a great little ball back on the inside. Here we go again. It's hard to see in those conditions, but I think he lost the ball. I think it's no try.
Well, he does eventually get the ball down, and if he didn't knock it on in the tackle there, then it might come back to a ref's call to Mark Oaten to decide whether he was in the opinion that he got the ball down in time in the tackle.
I think it would have been fair enough if had he maintained control of the football and then put it down on the second slide. But to me, I think when he lost the football and it went back, that may be the thing that will go against him. But geez, I've never agreed with referees too much throughout my career, so I'll leave this one up to the judge.
Yeah, I think it's too much time between getting over and forcing down. It's sure to be a red light decision.
The decision coming up. The Tigers fans are hoping for a try. They get one.
Wow.
They've gone absolutely mad here at Leichhardt.
Well, it's a historic night. We're going to go crazy. Amazing.
They're dancing in the rain. They're singing in the rain. 18 points to 10. They lead the Parramatta Eels. Well, on the cusp of an incredible victory.
Well, terrific to see the Tigers be able to go out on a win, but well, I've got to say I'm a little bit surprised, and we got one bloke sitting in the box that's pretty much a staunch Balmain fan. I think it may have even raised the eyebrow there as well. But let's pay credit to the move itself that was on prior to that. They executed the move perfectly.
It's absolutely pouring here, but they don't mind one little bit. They'll go home drenched to the bone, but they've come so far and seen this Tiger spirit re-emerge for the last time as the Balmain Tigers here at Leichhardt. Kane can put them in front by 10, and he does so. Balmain lead Parramatta 20 points to 10. Faces say it all. Parramatta quick to get play back underway here. Just on 11 minutes left in this game. Oh, Lulin has made a mistake from dummy half, but the markers went too quickly. Kidwell penalised. Suddenly everything going the way of the black and golds.
Well, I don't have much option from here on. Parramatta, they've almost got to play one-on-one football. Every time they get a chance, they've got to try and strip possession. Given a fair chance, they're going to spend half of the rest of this game in their own territory. Even further after the execution of this next set of 6. But what they can't let happen is a little bit of panic. They're 10 points behind. They've got to maintain their composure.
Stimson, the ball comes backwards out of his hands. Naval quick to get back there and dive on it. Parramatta's record will fall to 15-7 as far as wins and losses go in 1999 if they lose here this evening. Oh, Naval has made a mistake from dummy half, and Parramatta will get the ball away in good possession.
Oh, well, you've almost got to feel sorry for Naval there. Have a look what he's tried to pick this up out of. There's an absolute bog there that he's tried to reach down and pick the ball up. I suppose if you've got to be critical, you could almost say that the ball was floating for him and may have been a little bit of a comfortable pickup. Misfortune there.
Now Mark Oaten has just blown some time off as Shane Walker has some mud in the eye and didn't seem to do the trick, so he's going to go to the bench for the moment. And coming back out to take his place is Darren Centre.
Nice, easy.
Not a bad play either. They know that particularly when they're in their own half, they're going to need the guys that are pretty nimble on their feet. Defensively, that's going to be a big plus for them. Possession turned over again.
Jim Dimmick lost it on the first tackle. And they're roaring once more here at Tiger Town. O'Neill across the halfway line. Met by Tukey. What a game he's had. Smith takes it up. Once again, Daniel Wagon in there, close to the ruck in defence.
Smith's worked hard tonight also. Great go forward.
Centre. 31 metres out. Noble gives it to field. Looking surely for the in-goal again. Has it on a string in these conditions. Sofosky goes back, but he's pounced on. And the Tigers will get it back once more.
That's wonderful execution. All they've got to do from this moment forward is continue to control the football and kick to the corners. They've been very successful by it so far. And you can see just how it's changed now. Parramatta looking to change the tactics of the game. Certainly did appear to be a knock-on. Not called that way by Mark Oaten.
Could have easily been a knock-on against Craig Hancock. It won't matter though. Hayes Lauder has coughed it up.
And he's coughed it up because of a big tackle from guess who?
M. Tukey.
He has had an absolute screamer of a game, the big fella.
Easy, come on, Balmain, take it up here.
He became a bit of a cult hero when he was playing for the South Queensland Crushers a number of years ago. When he moved to Sydney, there were a few people that said, oh, well, he was good while he was here, but we doubt whether he'll make it in the big smoke. He's done it, and he's done it comfortably.
Chris Quinn inside his own 10 as Darren Centre grappled with David Kidwell there. He's had a bean in his bonnet for most of the game. The Eels 90 metres away from where they need to be. It's been such a long time since they were anywhere near the Balmain line. Look at the rain. You'd swear they were playing underwater. They almost are at the moment. Might be a good thing. This is the last game at Leichhardt this year for the Tigers because the ground might be destroyed after this. Morgan goes back and fields the kick.
Well, I really don't understand the tactics of the Parramatta team simply putting a chip kick in there. Again, we've got to bring up the point that the ball simply wasn't going to bounce once it hit the ground. It was going to splash. Comfortable for the Balmain players to be able to scrap it up. They've got to try and make sure that they play the game territorially.
There's an icy wind blowing from the south, and it's absolutely pouring, but they refuse to leave Leichhardt Oval. They are just staying here to watch this final victory, and they're only 7 minutes, less than 7 minutes away now from securing it. The kick from field too big, and it will come back to the 20-metre line. They are staying. Some with umbrellas, some without. They're very cold, but it doesn't matter. Parramatta forcing passes. Sofosky has it. The Tigers are wet. They don't mind a bit. Kidwell just outside the Eels 20. Done it so tough to try and get on the attack inside Balmain's 20 in this second half. They've had just the one chance. And the call didn't go their way. Skiffolidi turns it back for Custo. Incredibly, tonight the Tigers have scored 2 tries from grubbers. They hadn't scored a try from a grubber in their previous 17 games before it. They certainly pulled up the right night to change that stat. John Carlo with a huge tackle on Chris Quinn. Hurt the fullback as well. Penner, a short kick. O'Neill going back, throwing his body on top of the ball like it was a hand grenade.
Well, I don't know whether they're employing the right tactics. I think Parramatta should be simply trying to work. If they're going to score a try, they're more a chance of scoring it by working up the middle and kicking to a corner and then forcing a mistake rather than score one from 70 metres out in wet conditions. But Balmain, they've got the sniff of victory in their nostrils at the moment. They don't want to disappoint a magnificent crowd that's braved some horrifying conditions here tonight.
Stimson will play it. Just outside the Parramatta 20 field. Again, looking for that in goal. What a tactic it's been. Sofosky missed it. Yeah. Sofosky missed it. Webster, I think you'll find, put the ball down. But Mark Oaten will check to see if the winger grounded it.
Over the top of it. And then I think the Balmain bloke got it down.
Once again, the video referee has a call to make. You might not be able to see this on the replay. There's that much rain falling down here at Leichhardt, but Sofosky, I'm sure you'll find, has gone right across the top of it.
Well, what's the part of the body that's got to force downward? Well, he's forced downward pressure. They're going to argue whether it was put down by the arm or not. Most people believe that it's simply by the stomach. It shouldn't be, but it'll be very difficult to argue against that there was downward. Well, I'm not going to make the call on this one. The last one I made was wrong. You back this one, Chief?
No try. I've changed my mind. No try.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. I'd be very surprised. With 5 minutes to go, there's about 2 or 3 sets. Here we go.
Goal line drop out. Wait.
The Tigers were back over the halfway line, and that's why Mark Oaten is waiting to recommence play, letting them get into position to field the goal line dropout. And Carlo has it on the 20-metre line. They lead by 10, less than 5 minutes left. It's going to be a big loss in Parramatta season. Of course, next week they have a blockbuster game at ANZ against Brisbane. A game that will have a huge bearing on both teams' chances in the premiership. Centre plays it and comes back to field. Once again, kicking. Perhaps too strong this time. Yes, it was. It didn't stick. Parramatta will have it from the 20-metre line, but they're 10 points down. They're a long way from where they need to be, and they are out of time just about.
Play on.
Skiffaliti will kick. Taking the chance that Luke Burton will have the speed to get up and perhaps get to the ball, or the ball will beat everybody into the touchline, and that's what's happened.
Well, you've got a free kick. You're allowed to kick the ball, punt kick or drop kick. From there, of course, it's a tap play. And once it crosses the ground, it's just like a kickoff that goes into touch or across the dead ball line. Parramatta coming up. I've got to say that most of the Tigers players and crowd are confused, because you don't see that happen too often in footy.
One of the few times we've seen it this season. A couple of teams have worked it to good effect, and now Custo from the scrum base, kicking on the first tackle. Field goes back, makes no mistake with it, has it firmly, like it's a piece of gold in his hands, the ball, and will take every extra moment he possibly can to get back to his feet, and his face is completely covered in mud.
Wally, you're right. Parramatta, that's all they had to do a couple of sets ago, was at least get down there. Then they can concentrate on maybe forcing a mistake out of Balmain and getting possession back. With only 3 minutes to go, they really need the ball in this quarter.
There's grass and mud in there, and probably a grasshopper if you look closely enough. Lauder takes it up. They've been magnificent in the second 40 minutes, the Tigers. And the Eels once again give up a penalty.
Yeah, Dean Pay's absence has put a lot of pressure on his co-captain, Jared McCracken. And you've got to say that McCracken, whilst he gave away a penalty there, basically had to try something. The wet conditions, maybe the referee may have been fooled into thinking that the ball had a slip free whilst getting up to play the ball.
Here goes Balmain for another big set of 6. It wouldn't surprise me shortly if Laurie Nichols breaks out the raincoat and gets the singlet on and starts punching the air. He's got to be excited.
Naval with a tap. Gives it off to Stimson. It's been one of Balmain's best tonight. Had a great game after coming off the bench. Naval works it forwards for 10 hard yards. Metres, of course, to be correct in this time in the late 90s. Been metres for a long time. Lauder. McCracken in there trying to strip the ball from his hands. He hangs on to it. Naval again. We'll just take it forward. 11 metres out from the line. Perhaps one more try to send the fans home delirious, if they're not already. I thought for a moment was shaping for a field goal. Now he goes high to the air. The kick too big, too wide. Over this western touchline. We are 90 seconds away, just over 90 seconds away.
So that wind has really picked up now. It's gusting severely.
Kalis flings it backwards. It lands in McCracken's lap. Quinn shapes to kick it. Gives it to Weston. He fires it through Hindmarsh to Stuart Kelly. Flings it back inside, straight to the hands of Mark O'Neill. And the Tigers will send off the fans here at Leichhardt with a win for the last time as the Balmain Tigers. Less than 60 seconds left, but the celebrations have already commenced around this famous rugby league ground. Frankfield slow back to his feet. They could just about finish it out with the ball in their hands here. Hancock. He'll play it. Morecambe goes to dummy half. He takes it forward. And the chant goes up. Field on the last. Driving it. Too big once again. Parramatta will barely have time to get things back underway from the 20. What a win it's been. Who'd have thought? Well, we hoped maybe that the Tigers would make a contest of it tonight, but they've almost dominated the competition leaders. They'll count down the last few seconds. And they've done it for the last time at Leichhardt Oval. The Balmain Tigers are victorious. 20 points to 10, the final margin. What a win. A famous night for this famous club, and they will celebrate long into the night.
Yeah, what a fitting way for Balmain to put a full stop on the tradition of the club. It was raining tonight, it was hard, a very spirited effort, and I think that everyone who supports Balmain, particularly the players tonight, should be very proud of themselves. A top-notch effort.
Just over 15,000 people came in absolutely awful conditions. It was terrible. It is still pouring down here. The field was a quagmire by midway through the second half. But you can see what it means to these players to send people like this man, Laurie Nichols, away with a win for the last time as the Balmain Tigers.
Talking about what a wonderful thing it is for the crowd. The players realise the bonus of playing here at Leichhardt. That's 8 or 9 wins for the Tigers this year. They haven't won away from home, I don't believe. They've done extremely well. Obviously a great bonus for them. They realise the value that this place has been to them. They're certain to pay credit to the ground and all of the Tigers fans that come here and have given them such great support this evening.
And they're hanging around as well. The fireworks continue to boom out here by the Parramatta River. Balmain have beaten Parramatta 20 points to 10. Tyron Smith gets the congratulations from Laurie Nichols. And all bar a couple of hundred of the 15,000 who came here have remained to cheer their side. We've seen some emotional scenes, of course, in years past here. Paul Sirenen retiring. Couldn't go out a winner last year against the Roosters at Leichhardt. But tonight, it's the ultimate fairy tale. They are still cheering here at Leichhardt. The emblem, it means so much to them. And they came out for one final time.
There's going to be plenty of tears shed here tonight. Look at that. Been hanging around this ground for the last 40 or 50 years. I remember you speaking about it, Chief, the day of the grand final in 1997. Just the emotion that you got through watching the faces of the Newcastle people wishing you all the best on the way to the ground and their elation on the way home. We ever tried to rub that out and say that there was no Newcastle team anymore? They're pretty tough. The locals to swallow.
That's dead right, Wally. You just got to look at some of the faces there, and again the players. So much emotion, and it's just so important that the rugby league still comes down to the team who wants it the most. It's all about passion and pride. And, I'm very proud to be here tonight because it is historic, and these blokes deserve it. They've had a very tough year, and so does the crowd. Well done.
Well, I guess there'd be one guy that'd be shedding a tear that we don't see out there. He's got 17 proud footballers running around the paddock at the moment, but there's a coach that they have that ran around this park just about more than any other player. And I guess the emotion that he'd be feeling would be something that would be immeasurable at the moment.
It's 30 years since they won their last premiership. Came back in 1969, of course, at the Sydney Cricket Ground, and it's been 66 seasons they've been at Leichhardt Oval. It all started on Anzac Day back in 1934. They were losers on that occasion against Western Suburbs. But on August 14th, 1999, they have sent this famous ground out a winner. Balmain have upset Parramatta 20 points to 10. In the context of the season, it is one of the upsets of the season. We said that when they beat Newcastle here 3 weeks ago, but this is perhaps the biggest upset of the second half of the season at least. Craig Field, the newest of the Tigers, he knows what it means to the locals here to be cheering this team for one last occasion. What a moment it is.
It's a great moment. I was just thinking Parramatta, Brian Smith will probably try and just write this game off because of the emotion. It was a hard game to win. But Wally, what do you think his plans will be for next week?
Well, if there's a group of people that were probably disappointed that Balmain won this evening, I'd have to say to be the Brisbane Bronco players. They'd be thinking, well, Brian Smith won't be happy about that. There's going to be a group of players that feel absolutely insulted about it. And they know that they're going to face the best of the Eels next weekend.
And what about this man? Laurie Nichols, week in, week out. He travels to watch them everywhere. And he is just enjoying it, soaking it up, talking to himself, and nobody cares.
You know, it's surprising to see that bloke there. I know I've had a lot of people ask me, and they think, well, their question is he not the full quid, that poor bloke there? But I can tell you he is. He's 100% passion for rugby league. He loves the game. He and his family have supported it for a long, long time around this place. He's as much a part of Leichhardt Oval as the grass out there. Plenty of the football players will pay a real big rap to this bloke because he's made them feel a real part of the club.
Yeah, I'm with you, Wally. I think if you look at rugby league and the essence of it, that's what it's all about.
Let's go downstairs to Russell Fairfax, who I'm sure has a very proud Tigers captain.
Yeah, I certainly do. Darren Senna, what a great moment, what a great way to finish Balmain's time here at Leichhardt Oval.
Oh, mate, it's unbelievable, you know. Like the fans we got, mate, are second to none. The way they've stuck around, mate, it hasn't stopped raining all night. And look at them, mate, they're all still here. They've all come out from everywhere to barrack for us tonight. And, mate, I think the boys will repay them with a solid effort tonight, and they should be happy. Yeah, the victory today was all about Tigers' spirit, there's no doubting that. Oh, mate, that's one thing you'll never take away from the Tiger boys, mate, and that's their spirit. And, you know, like, we can't make the semis or anything, but the boys just show what sort of spirit we have got in this club. And, mate, next year's just going to come bigger and better things for us. Darren, what about you, mate? You're freezing, you're shivering. What about the conditions today? Toughest you played in, or one of the toughest? Oh, mate, unbelievable. Like I said, it hasn't stopped raining, mate, from start to finish. It was just a downpour, and then the last 5 or 10 minutes, that wind come up, mate, nearly blew us off the paddock. You had a little powwow there in the middle of the field after the game. What was said? Oh, you know, like, you know, the Tigers have done a lot for a lot of the players that are here, mate. And we just, we spoke before the game, and we just wanted to put a really big performance in. You know, like, it's a big moment, the last game at Leichhardt for the Balmain Tigers. And after the game, we just got there and said, listen, boys, that was what the Tiger spirit's all about. And, you know, the boys are just, mate, they're all thrilled. You know, it's like a, you know, it's just unbelievable, the crowd that's come out here and stuck by us. A very joyous night, but it is tinged with a bit of sadness. You won't be here again. Yeah, no, that's the sad thing about it. You know, the Balmain Tigers won't play again at our Leichhardt Oval. But tonight was a fitting finish for us, mate. It's great to finish on a win. Dan, thank you. Get warm and celebrate. Thanks very much, Russ. See you, mate.
It is the last game for the Balmain Tigers at Leichhardt, but they'll be back next year as the West Tigers. And it is farewell to Balmain, though. We'll take a break and come back to wrap it all up right after this. Balmain beating Parramatta 20 points to 10.